Artificial intelligence is in your pocket, your car, your home, and your browser. But it didn't start with ChatGPT or Midjourney. This technology has roots that go all the way back to ancient myths, Cold War secrets, and some of the weirdest programming experiments in history. Today, we're diving into the full timeline, from AI legends and theory to the rise of machines that can write, code, and even lie. Let's explore the real history of artificial intelligence. Spoiler, the robots didn't just suddenly wake up in 2022. This story goes way deeper. The idea of artificial intelligence began in mythology, not science. Ancient Greeks imagined intelligent beings crafted by gods, like Talos, a massive bronze robot who guarded the island of Crete. The god Hephaestus was said to have created mechanical golden servants to help him in his forge. These stories weren't just fantasy. They show how long we've dreamed of building intelligence. In the Islamic Golden Age, around the year 1206, inventor Al-Jazari designed elaborate automata, machines powered by water and gears that could serve drinks, tell time, and even play music. These programmable devices are considered some of the earliest examples of mechanical automation. Fast forward to the Renaissance. Leonardo da Vinci sketched a humanoid knight in armor that could move its arms, sit up, and even open its jaw. Although it was never built during his lifetime, the design shows just how far back this fascination with lifelike machines really goes. So yeah, robot hype is at least 2,000 years old. This isn't a trend, it's a tradition. Jumping ahead to the 20th century, things started to get real. Mathematicians and engineers began to wonder, could thinking be broken down into logic? Could a machine be built that could solve problems, not just crunch numbers? One of the most important figures was Alan Turing, who in 1950 proposed the idea of a machine that could simulate human thought. His famous Turing test asked, if a person couldn't tell whether they were talking to a machine or a human, had the machine become intelligent? In 1956, the field of artificial intelligence was officially born at the Dartmouth Conference, hosted by John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, Claude Shannon, and others. They believed that human intelligence could be described with enough precision to be replicated by machines. In the 1950s and 60s, early AI programs like the Logic Theorist were created to prove math theorems. Then came ELIZA, a chatbot that mimicked a psychotherapist using simple pattern matching, fooling many into thinking it understood them. There was also Char-de-Lou, which could respond to typed commands and manipulate virtual blocks, showing an early form of symbolic reasoning. Meanwhile, in 1958, Frank Rosenblatt created the perceptron, the first neural network model that could learn from data. Although primitive, it introduced the idea of machine learning decades before it became mainstream. ELIZA was the first chatbot, and also the first chatbot people overshared to. Some things never change. In the 1960s and early 70s, AI research exploded with optimism. Governments funded projects heavily, thinking we'd soon have machines that could translate languages, diagnose illnesses, and understand speech. But these early systems hit a wall. Real-world problems turned out to be far harder than toy examples. AI could play chess in a simplified world, but it struggled with blurry images or unpredictable human language. This disappointment led to the first AI winter in the 1970s, when funding and public interest dropped sharply. Things heated up again in the 1980s with the rise of expert systems, rule-based programs that mimicked expert decision-making in fields like medicine or engineering. One famous system, XCON, helped configure computer orders for DEC and save the company millions. But expert systems were fragile. They couldn't learn or adapt, and adding more rules made them more complex and brittle. As businesses realized these systems weren't as smart as promised, a second AI winter hit in the late 1980s and early 90s. Once again, AI was labeled as overhyped. So basically, AI went through a cycle of "we're so close" to "wait, this sucks" over and over. The tide finally turned in the early 2010s with a technique called deep learning. This involves stacking many layers of neural networks and feeding them huge amounts of data. And in 2012, a model called AlexNet crushed an image recognition challenge by a wide margin, shocking the computer vision world. This success was possible thanks to three major shifts: massive data from the internet, cheap computing via GPUs, and breakthroughs in algorithms. Suddenly, AI could recognize objects, faces, and speech far better than before. In 2016, DeepMind's AlphaGo defeated one of the best human players in the game of Go, a task previously thought to be decades away. It wasn't just brute force. AlphaGo learned complex strategies humans never even discovered. Around the same time, generative adversarial networks, GANs, entered the scene. These models could generate realistic images of people who didn't exist, art styles, and even deepfakes. AI was now creative. The biggest game changer came in 2017 when Google introduced the Transformer architecture, a way for models to process language with much better memory and context. This led to models like BERT, T5, and eventually GPT. This is when AI stopped being cute and started being terrifyingly good, like write a novel good. In late 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT, a friendly interface built on GPT 3.5 that could write, code, explain, translate, and more. In just 2 months, it reached 100 million users, becoming the fastest-growing app in history. In 2023, GPT-4 followed with even more advanced capabilities, including reasoning, image understanding, and complex logic. The AI race kicked off with major players: Claude from Anthropic, Gemini from Google, Llama from Meta, and open-source models like Mixtral and Mistral. We also saw the rise of multimodal models like Sora, generating video from text. AI is no longer limited to words. It creates art, Midjourney, DALLE, music, Suno, voiceovers, 11 Labs, and even short films. Tools like Perplexity AI, Notion AI, and GitHub Copilot are changing how people search, write, and code, becoming true productivity partners. AI now builds websites, makes YouTube videos, and edits your resume. Next up, doing your taxes? We're living through the most rapid phase of AI development ever, but with great power comes big questions. Who controls these models? How do we deal with misinformation? What jobs are at risk? Some researchers believe AGI, artificial general intelligence, may arrive within decades. Others warn it could be dangerous if we're not careful with ethics, transparency, and alignment. But one thing's for sure, AI didn't come out of nowhere. It's the product of centuries of imagination, science, and a lot of failed prototypes. From Greek myths to deepfakes, we've always dreamed of artificial minds. The question now is, are we ready for what we built? If you enjoyed this timeline, hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment of which era you think had the most influence.